So 2020 has been sort of a bizarre year for a lot of us. I mean, you've got a brand new Supra, the Corvette's gone mid-engine. The new M3, M4 looks, how do I put it, interesting. And Subaru went off and made the 718 NSX RCF thing that has the same horsepower rating as a John Deere lawnmower. But then again, you do have Mercedes here who is simply just sticking to their guns and not changing a recipe that works, at least not yet. See, today we have a prime example of what the folks at AMG do best, and that's creating some of the most luxurious yet obnoxiously loud sports cars around. But let's just say you have, I don't know, $190,000 sitting around and you want a flagship AMG. Well, my friend, you have a problem because A, you have a little bit too much money, and B, Mercedes makes two exceptionally good options for you. Let's go take a look.
The 2020 Mercedes AMG GT-R. What a work of art. That long hood line, Pan America grille, it's like if a Dodge Viper grew up and became an investment banker. It's a 577 horsepower purpose-built machine designed to crush lap records and look cool doing it. But at the same time, it remains very drivable on the street. Although the long hood does make it feel slightly intimidating the first time around, you get used to it in no time. However, drivable does not mean comfortable. I gotta say, the ride in here is a bit more harsh than I was expecting, even in comfort mode. And you can see that with the infamous ibis wobble in the camera. In no way should this car have the letters GT on the back. Anyway, weighing in at just under 3,600 pounds, the power to weight is 6.23. And in our previous test, it's easily a high 7-second 60-130 car. And although it's also got great launch control, today's a pretty chilly day. On the other hand, we have the beefier GT63S. Carrying the same nomenclature of the GT line, it fits the name much better. It's essentially a 4-door sportback, coupe, sedan thingy, and though I feel like it looks like an overgrown CLS from certain angles, the front end is still menacing and AMG as ever. The driving experience in the GT63 lends itself more to comfort than sport. Everything is up-trimmed and feels more luxurious, even the center console is bigger and fancier. But at the same time, it's still capable of delivering impressive cornering capabilities and crazy performance. Using the same 4-liter twin-turbo V8, it makes 630 brake horsepower and almost 150 pounds more torque. However, at around 4,500 pounds, it also weighs 900 pounds heavier, which drops the power weight down to 7.14. It's a mid-8-second 60-130 car in our testing, so on paper it's slower, but it's also got all-wheel drive, so I'm betting that it'll be able to launch off that line like a bat out of hell. Let's get this symphony started.
Pretty badass matchup in my opinion. You know, when we first got the AMG GT-R on the channel, we used to think that it launched really damn hard for a rear-wheel drive sports car, but there's just no way you can argue with 664 pounds of torque and all-wheel drive. Even from a roll, the GT63S seemed to jump ahead on the hit, but the top end of the GT-R is simply undeniable. But we kind of knew that going into it because of all the times we watched it pull away from cars at 130 miles per hour. Anyway, let's take a look at those V-Box times to see what really went down. The AMG GT-R was definitely on its A-game with the rolls, but sort of fell behind from a dig where it did the half mile at 17.87 and a touch over 151. The four-door AMG GT was a little slower on the rolls by almost a full second, but still went through the half mile significantly quicker, even though he hit the brakes roughly 50 feet before the actual finish mark. Moral of the story is don't mess with that four-door GT63S from a dig, because unless you have all-wheel drive or a 6-second 6-to-130 car, chances are you might not be able to catch up to it at all. Anyway, racing aside, the cars themselves felt completely different from a driving standpoint. I mean, common sense says, no shit, Sherlock, but being that they are technically the same model line, you'd expect it to feel sort of similar in a way, right? Nope, not really, because the AMG GT63S felt more like an S-Class that took a bunch of steroids and then went ham at the gym, whereas the GT-R feels more like a middleweight boxer that TKOs everyone in the first 2 rounds. And it's really more of a race car for the road. It's got significantly less compliant suspension, sharper steering, and a more dramatic seating position. A bunch of Alcantara, and it's also missing that oh-so-lovely active lumbar. Okay, so bodybuilder versus boxer is kind of a bad generalization because apparently the four-door GT63 recently set a Nürburgring Ring record for the fastest sedan, so it's a lot more than just straight line muscle. But I'll tell you what, they do have one thing in common, and it's that lovely AMG exhaust note. If you asked me to pick one, I'd honestly have a pretty difficult time. At this price point, the GT-R is sort of justifiable because of that classic front-engine supercar shape, and it's really just a lovely looking vehicle, not to mention that it's an absolute beast around a track if that's what you plan on using it for. But at the same time, the GT63S has an interior that I would really have a hard time saying no to. Having the ability to slay supercars while being a semi-comfy, useful all-wheel drive sedan is just a cherry on top. Obviously, it comes down to what your needs are, but if I were 2 years younger, I would have definitely gone with the two-door AMG. But if it's life or death and I can only have one, I might have to go with that four-door torque monster. But what about you guys? AMG GT-R or GT63S? Let's talk about that in the comments below. Well, that's all for this week's episode, and if you're watching this on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I'm extremely grateful for all the peeps that watch the channel and all the fans that donate their cars to make this kind of stuff possible. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Hey guys, if you like this video, help a brother out by giving it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or if I said something weird, let me know in the comments below. You can also support the channel by sharing our stuff or maybe shop in the merch store. And if this is your first time here, don't forget to check out some of my other stuff. I produce all sorts of cool cinematic car content, so if that's your jam, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon for new episodes every week. Thanks for watching.